So hello my dear friends, welcome back. Welcome to your channel Cooking Astrology. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing my channel and liking my videos. Thanks a lot. So let's continue our journey, our series of planets through 5th house of D9 chart in Vedic astrology. And in this particular video, let's try to decode planet Rahu placement in the 5th house of your D9 chart. And what are going to be the positive and negative results that are particularly associated with this Rahu placement. Now basically when it comes to the 5th house of either it's D1 or the D9 chart, 5th house is going to become very important. But the main difference between the D1 and the D9 chart actually shows the skill set which is present inside you people. And also the kind of skills which you are going to develop in your life slowly over the passage of time. That is seen through the 5th house. Now the planets like Rahu in the 5th house first of all have the capacity to make you a real fighter. Now when I'm using the word fighter here, I'm not talking about fighting. It's more of the survival skills. Because Rahu in the 5th house have the capacity to mold itself according to the environment. If you for example put this Rahu into some sort of a corporate environment, in some sort of a job environment, in some sort of a business kind of a setting, Rahu have the capacity to mold itself according to the environment. Similarly, if you put this Rahu into some household environment, some family environment, so Rahu have the capacity to adjust and adapt according to the environment. And that is where the survival skills are actually going to be at extreme high with this Rahu. Secondly, Rahu is also going to bless you with the skills of diplomacy. Now, when it comes to diplomacy, it's at the time of communication. Like rather than going for very honest and very straightforward kind of a communication, Rahu have the capacity to go round the corner. And that is where Rahu is also having the survival skills in order to survive specifically in the 21st century. Even depending over the planetary placements and conjunctions with this Rahu, results might going to differ here. Because the planetary conjunctions in the 5th house of the D9 chart is also the representation of the karmic associations in your life. And in order to study these karmic associations, you need to first of all look at the planet that is actually in conjunction with Rahu. For example, Jupiter is in conjunction with Rahu in the 5th house in your D9 chart. It means there is going to be some karmic connectivity with this Jupiter. Now, in order for you to understand what kind of a karmas that are connected, you need to look into the D1 chart first of all. That is your natal birth chart. And look at the zodiac signs of Jupiter, where they are exactly posited, where the sign of Sagittarius and where the sign of Pisces is. Now, for example, the Sagittarius and Pisces are posited in the 7th house or maybe the 10th house. Now, 7th house is actually the house of marriage, married life aspect. 10th house is the house of your career. It means the influence or the impact of Rahu is going to be first of all over the 7th house, that is the marriage and married life. It means some sort of attracting foreigner partner or some sort of marriage outside of your caste, creed and cultural background that is going to be associated specifically with the 10th house. This have the capacity to give you some sort of exceptional careers or the new age careers that are actually coming nowadays. So in this way, you need to study the karmic connections or the results of the planetary placements that are particularly in conjunction with Rahu. Next important point, this is also the combined house of a husband and wife. I'm talking about the financial gains here. Now, when it comes to the financial gains, Rahu have the capacity to give you a lot of liquidity into the 5th house. Now, it also depends over the condition of the 10th house also, because in the D9 chart, 10th house shows the actual wealth perspective of a native or the amount of wealth that you have the capacity to accumulate. Or you can also consider this thing as the expanded version of yourself. Like if you are right now in a 2-bedroom apartment, so capacity of a person to go into 5-bedroom apartment. So that expanded version is actually seen through the 10th house. Now, if in the D9 chart, if Rahu is forming any sort of a connection or connectivity with the 10th house, like 10th house Lord posited with this Rahu, or even any sort of mutual yoga created between the like 5th and the 10th house, then this have the capacity to give you lot of expansion after marriage. Now here I'm not using the word money here. I'm not using money. I'm talking about expansion, because it also depends over which zodiac sign this Rahu is actually posited. It shows the expanded version in that areas of your life. If, for example, Rahu is in a problematic situation, forming some sort of a connection with the 6th house lot, that is the house of your disease, debt and enemies. So Rahu is going to expand the Karak Tattva and the significance of that things. If it is in conjunction with maybe money and wealth houses, this have the capacity to expand the significance of that particular house. So it shows the expanded version. And the reason why Rahu is going to expand here, because anything which you are going to add on into your life is actually going to add up into the 5th house. So that is actually going to become the storage. Now this is not only your storage, that is the combination of you and your partner. So the storage between you and your partner, accumulated storage, is seen through the 5th house. And that is where whenever you are looking for a horoscope matchmaking, or at the time of marrying or choosing a spouse or a life partner, you must need to analyze the 5th house of D9 chart in both male and the female chart. Because if one particular person having the malefic associations like Rahu, Saturn, Mars, or these planets are in the 5th house, you need to find that kind of a partner who is eventually going to have more benefics concentration into the 5th house. Only then this have the capacity to parallelly run the relationship together into the much positive way. Otherwise, if both persons, they are going to have negative associations present into the 5th house, this is going to create the flexibility related problems. Then this is going to offer more resistance and more rigidity in front of both of your lives. Even one more thing, Rahu matured at the age of 42 in Vedic astrology. Every planet in Vedic astrology have certain maturity ages, okay? So specifically the Rahu matured at the age of 42. And most of the time, now it based over the Vimshotri Mahadasha also, that is the planetary timings that you are going through, 42nd year in your life is actually going to become the transformative year. Now when I'm using the word transformation here, it might going to be a negative side transformation, or it might going to be a positive transformation. But Rahu in the 5th house represents burning of some pending karmas at the age of 42, and then this is going to help you to bring the new karmas into your life. Because this is that kind of a placement where, for example, the sign of Scorpio, the sign of Aquarius, and Rahu is posited in out of these two zodiac signs. And for example, Rahu is in a conjunction with some Vargottama planet. Vargottama means same zodiac sign in the D1 and in the D9 chart. Or itself Rahu and Ketu axis is going to become Vargottama in both D1 and in the D9 chart. It shows the severity of karma or the complexities of karma that is actually going to be present in your life. And with whichever planet this Rahu is going to be in conjunction with, it shows karmic association is going to be very high from that particular area. If it is with moon, then mother is going to be responsible. If it is with sun, that is your father. Mercury and Mars, that is going to be with your siblings. With Venus and Jupiter, your spouse, life partner or gurus. So in this way, you can understand that part. So at the age of 42, this represents some cutting of pending karma, and this is going to add on some new karmas into your life. But overall, I will tell you, this is a very thriving and positive Rahu whenever it's actually coming into the 5th house. Because the main goal of this Rahu is going to be over the survival part. Like how I'm going to survive. Now, it's not the survival into the corporate world. It's also into the personal life. The things that I particularly need to avoid into my life. Suppose family tensions are bringing a lot of negativity inside your career aspect. So Rahu is that kind of a planet that have the capacity to, first of all, understand what are the distractions or where the distractions are actually coming. And then Rahu have the capacity to move on or move away from their distractions. Although sometimes this might going to create a lot of painful things into your life, because I told you, depending over planetary influence. Suppose Rahu is in Libra. Now Libra represents the sign that is 7th house, that is spouse, life partner, marriage or relationship. So it means some sort of a pending baggage from the past relationships is actually becoming the halting factor in front of your growth. And that is restricting you. That is restraining you from going forward into your life. Now, Rahu is having that kind of understanding present inside this graha. Like, in order for me to survive in this universe, whatever things are necessary, Rahu is going to look for that kind of a thing. And that is why the hunger towards wealth is naturally going to be present inside these people. In order for you to gain satisfaction from the wealth perspective with this Rahu, it's not very easy, or it's not going to be like very easy for you to generate satisfaction over the minor amount of money that you are coming into your life. Because I told you, Rahu is going to behave like a king. So here king is going to be in the, have you seen the chess game actually? So the king is the main player, okay? Although there are going to be different players that are also playing. But every other player in the chessboard, so its main aim is to protect the king. So the survival of king is going to become very important. And this is the quality of Rahu in the 5th house. This have the capacity to understand its own survival. Because here the survival of the king, if king is going to die, there is nothing going to be there. And that is where Rahu tend to become more and more self-centered. You will see over the passage of time with this Rahu placement, the more and more self-centeredness that is going to be coming inside you, more this will help you to actually thrive and become successful into your life. If you are going to become more selfless with this Rahu, other people have the capacity then to take advantage of you. In this way, you will not be able to utilize the proper of energy of Rahu into the positive way. And that is where self-centeredness, up to some extent, is also going to be a positive thing with this Rahu placement into the 5th house. So I hope you have gained some deep insights in this video with me. If you are having any queries, any consultations with regards to your Rahu or Ketu or any other placement, feel free to contact me at my email ID. And I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Till then, feel free to subscribe my channel below. Make sure to hit the like button if you really enjoyed this video. And please don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. And I'm going to meet you very, very soon in the next video. Till then, bye-bye and Hare Krishna.